Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And I was thinking to make a video for you about the top 13 indication of soulmate connection in the chart. Now, the reason why I've chosen this topic for you today is because Venus is entering the sign of Leo, which is all about romance, dating, love, flirtatious energies around us. So I thought this might help you to choose the right person. So very briefly, we're going to be covering 13 indications, but I would like to also mention that this is not the full list. This is just, in my opinion, some of the most important ones. And how you should be working with these 13 indications, you might want to be going on Astro.com, pull up a synastry chart with your partner. Synastry means that you put someone's chart on top of yours, and then you want to be seeing if there are any type of connections out of those 13. Typically, if you have got 6 or 7 minimum, then I would say you have got a very strong bond with your partner. Now, I would like also to put out there that if you don't have these connections, it doesn't mean that the relationship is not going to work out, but definitely 6, 7 of these constellations will make the relationship stronger or fated, destined. So yeah, let's get started. So the number one activation or constellation is when you have got the North Node of your partner in the 7th house. Now, North Node is all about destiny and fate. It has got a very strong purpose. This is our learning curve. So if your North Node is falling into your partner's 7th house, then you are here to teach something to your partner, probably about love, connections, kind of like a karmic contract, which is getting signed between two souls. If it's the other way around, then the partner is going to be doing the same for you. Now, North Node is a Jupiterian energy, so it's all about wanting to grow by the other person. Typically, not necessarily an easy relationship, to be frank, because North Node, as I said, is a learning curve. So we need to embrace something from the qualities of our partner. And if we tend to become a little bit reluctant about it, then of course it can become frustrated as well. So just make a comment in the box if you have got that. How easy is that relationship? Do you have got a strong bond with that person? Or did you realize, for instance, that it's harder to let go of the person because the soul is kind of craving to experience something with this partner? Number 2 indication is if the South Node is in the 7th house. So it usually indicates that you guys were somehow related on a partnership level in the previous lifetime as well, or in previous lifetimes. And there is an unfinished business you are here to resolve. You have to finish something. Now, it can show that you are quite entangled with someone. You might feel that I have known this person for a very long time. So basically, the two souls are very familiar with each other. Now, usually these relationships are not a fairy tale story, but also very hard to leave the person behind. So we tend to be playing the savior role, or we want to actually get saved by the person. Whoever is falling into the 7th house, so your partner's South Node is falling into your 7th house, then basically the partner has got some unfinished business with you. Probably they are here to give you something back they received from you in previous lifetimes. Top number 3 would be if one of the nodes are falling into your 12th house. Now, typically, this is kind of like it's neither good or bad without you. So I can't kind of live with you, but without you either. So typically, it brings a lover type of energy, but there is definitely a very strong fated karmic connection between the two of you, because 12th house is related to karma. That's something to do with being born in the cosmic womb. And it could indicate that the two of you were born at the same place at the same time, but maybe there were some type of blockages for the relationship and you are here to solve that. Number 4 indication would be if any personal planet, especially the moon, sun, or Venus, are conjuncting your vertex. Now, the vertex is a fated point, a fated destiny point in the chart. It is also called as the second descendant. It is a calculated point, actually. And it can fall from the 5th house to the 9th house anywhere. So check that out. If you don't know how to do that, just go on astro.com, go on the additional objects, and then you will find the vertex there. Now, if your partner's planet is conjuncting, especially conjunction, to your vertex within about 3 degrees, that's a very strong soulmate connection. Probably maybe I should have kind of mentioned it maybe a little bit above, so as a number 1 or number 2 indication, because it's usually very, very strongly felt. Now, I would like to also tell you that it's a mathematical calculation, so you must have a very accurate timing of birth. Typically, vertex and its ruler for me also shows where you might meet this person. Number 5 is going to be when a personal planet of your partner is conjuncting your sun or moon. Now, the sun is something to do with our life mission, and the moon is something to do with our emotional needs. So when someone's personal planet is making a conjunction to those two, it kind of indicates that the person is here to teach you something to achieve that life mission, or to give you some emotional security, or maybe to get you out of your comfort zone as well, depending on which planet it is. Number 6 indication would be a moon conjunction, trine, or even sextile to Venus. Now, the conjunction is definitely the strongest, followed by trine, and sextile probably kind of I would give half a point for that. But Venus is the planet of love. So when someone's moon is actually in trine or conjunction to it, then actually there is a strong bond created, because my emotional need is meeting with someone's loving and caring nature. Typically, these people are very familiar towards each other, or they might have got the same styles, same hobbies. They have got something in common to share with each other. And of course, it is going to be giving a boost to the relationship. However, I'm not suggesting that opposites wouldn't attract each other, of course, because at the end of the day, the 7th house is the unintegrated part of your psyche, meaning that the partner is kind of showing you a mirror and wants you to integrate those qualities within yourself as well. Number 7 indication would be if planets are falling, personal planets are falling into your 4th, 5th, or the 7th house. Now, the 4th house is because I'm able to imagine my life living with this person, especially if the 4th house is getting activated. The 5th house is I can imagine having kids, for instance, with this person. And of course, the 5th house is something to do with love, romance, and flirt. So therefore, that's kind of like the dating phase in the relationship department. And of course, the 7th house is, generally speaking, the house of marital contract. So I usually say that the 7th house experiences start once you have once you have signed that contract with your partner. So that's also a very strong connection for soulmate and marriage purposes. Number 8 would be if Jupiter has got a positive aspect to your descendant or ascendant, even Venus and Moon. So Jupiter talks about actually the husband in the natal chart, as well as your own kids. But Jupiter is all about growth and expansion, and the relationship is all about growing from one stage to another. Of course, Jupiter is all about the cosmic law as well. So that could indicate marriage in your chart because you are going to be witnessed by the gods, by the angels, or whatever you believe in. So that's also a very strong synastry connection. Next one, number 9, is when Saturn is actually in trine, conjunction, or sextile to the angles or Moon and Venus. Now, with the angles, I especially talk about the ascendant, descendant, but to a certain extent, the IC and the MC can play a significant role as well. Now, you might find it interesting that, wow, Saturn being good in synastry. Don't forget that Saturn is all about crystallizing things. It's the planet of commitment. I rarely see relationships working out without having a strong Saturn indication within the chart. So you need Saturn to kind of build that foundation from scratch in the relationship. Saturn is building, and it puts one brick down and then it puts the next one. So it's a continuously building towards success. So Saturn is a very important. Number 10 indication would be if the Sun, Moon, or any personal planets conjunct the North Node. Now, that's definitely a very strong energy. Similarly, like having North Node in the 7th house, the person is here to teach you some of those qualities of the planet. So imagine that, for instance, Venus is conjuncting your North Node. The person is here to teach you Venusian topics. So look at what Venus rules in Partner's B chart, and look at what Venus rules in your own natal chart as well, because probably the person wants to teach you something about those topics. But generally speaking, Venus is the planet of love. So the person is here to show you what love actually might mean. And of course, we spoke about the moon as well, which is typically the wife energy in the chart. So maybe actually with the moon and north node connection, it's all about how to become a wife or how to become a partner to the other person. It is the planet of emotional security, the key to happiness. So maybe the person is here to teach you how to live a happy life. The next important constellation would be when the 7th or the 8th house ruler aspecting your vertex within 3 degrees. Now, you might wonder why the 8th house. So I've got a little bit of a theory about relationships. So we start dating with the 5th house. We sign the contract with the partner with the 7th house. But once we are living together for quite some time, when the relationship is kind of getting to the stage where there needs to be an element of a renewal, meaning that maybe we need to spice up our sexual life, or we start kind of like drifting apart and we feel that we need to be able to, let's say, trust each other again or communicate a little bit more. I feel like that stage of the relationship is something to do with the 8th house. Don't forget that the 8th house is in conjunction with the rising sign. Now, if you think about the in conjunction, which is all about redirecting some of the energies, and then using them in a different way, then it kind of also makes sense why the 8th house is probably the 3rd phase of love. So we start with all those lovely dating, and then we get married, we are very excited. But let's be honest, after a while, the relationships start to die off. And that's why we need to have an element of a rebirth. So for me, the 8th house also indicates relationship energies. And if the ruler of the 7th or the 8th house are in aspect, especially positive ones, so again, conjunction, trine, and last but not least, sextile to your vertex within 3 degrees, that could indicate a strong soulmate connection. Number 12 would be if your 1st house or 7th house ruler conjuncts the other person's 1st house or 7th house ruler. So imagine that your 1st house is ruled, for instance, by Jupiter, and your partner's 1st house or 7th house, let's say, ruled by Mercury. And actually, there is a conjunction going on between the two planetary energies. Now, this could be quite important because having 2 planetary bodies in conjunction is kind of like the 2 bodies are merging. So in horary astrology, this talks about something which is fated. And it also mentions that the 2 bodies are standing together. So basically, they have got a merging point, kind of like a sexual interaction. So that could also be very, very karmic. Because the conjunction would be kind of indicating that the 2 people will be able to work out very well if they manage to give up on something. So meaning that, think about, for instance, Jupiter and Mercury, they are kind of natural enemies. Why is that? Because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Those are opposing signs. So those 2 planets don't really get along, meaning that they have to give up on something in order for them to be able to bring something out of this alignment. Those 2 planets have become allies, but they're going to have to learn to listen to each other. So maybe Jupiter needs to learn to be able to learn from Mercury, and Mercury needs to be able to listen to Jupiter's wisdom as well. Number 13 would be if Venus and Neptune are in positive aspect with each other, especially trine. Now, probably there are so much myth around Neptune in synastry. People tend to believe that it brings plenty of fog in the relationship, deception, lies, even cheating on. And it could happen. However, there is that magnetic, magical attraction between the 2 people as well. And unless they are not able to create the boundaries in the partnership, unless they are able to create the boundaries in the partnership, this could go extremely well. So the Neptune is the unconditional love, the planet of unconditional love, the cosmic womb, something which I'm able to, a planet which kind of wants to surrender for the other person. Yes, Neptune can be sometimes a little bit of a yes type of, yes saying type of planet. So definitely one of the challenges here is not to wear those rose-colored glasses and being able to say no to the partner and having clear communication between the 2 of them. But I feel like in synastry that could bring 2 people together, and there is that element of idealism going on between the lovers. Very similarly to Pluto as well. So that could show some magnetic attraction between the 2 people. Of course, with Pluto, you guys need to watch out for power struggles and maybe manipulation as well. So not to manipulate the partner, for instance, by sex or by dinner, or I'm not gonna pick up your dirty socks if you do this and that, and so forth. But Pluto and Venus trine can show soulmate connection. Sometimes it's a little bit harder for the person to leave that relationship behind as well, because there are some personal gains involved. And maybe one as a bonus, I would be looking at Juno, which is an asteroid, and it talks about the soul mate in our birth chart, being in conjunction to the partner's sun, moon, or any of the angles within 3 degrees. So as I said, Juno is the perfect match made in heaven. She was the wife of Zeus, and she was all about giving something to the partner, trying to fix the marriage. It's the asteroid of marriage. Now, I'm not going to go into details so much about what Juno represents, but just remember it's the perfect match made in heaven. So especially Juno conjunction to the Sun, Moon, or Venus of the partner, or even the 7th house ruler or the descendant cusp, or the rising sign cusp especially, could indicate a very strong soulmate connection. So these are my top 13 and one bonus indication of the perfect match in heaven. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you must have at least 6 or 7 to feel that karmic connection very strongly. So let me know how many of those you've got with your partner, and how long have you been together with your loved one. So thank you very much for your attention, and see you shortly with another great video. Oh, and then if you like the video, press like, ring the notification bell, and share the video with others as well. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.